Hey guys, this episode of Warner Brothers Entertainment, The People's Bow, is brought to you by our wonderful partners, Organisource. If you go there today, you can get yourself some of this keto-friendly collagen. And it's also got a little surprise in there for you. You know what that is? MCT powder. Alright? And it's 70% organic coconut sourced MCT powder. So this is the good stuff. Alright? You can trust in Organisource. They're going to get you that organic stuff. And you know what else it's chock full of? Amino acids. You know how many amino acids are in this thing? I'm not even going to list them. That's how many. So go check it out right now. Organisource.com. And you know what? Tell them your boy Bruce sent you. Use offer code Bruce. And you're going to get 15% off. Alright. Enjoy the episode.
Hey everybody, welcome to the People's Elbow, brought to you by Warner Brothers Entertainment. This is really mostly just going to be talking about fights and good fight cards and just kind of how we feel about those and whatever you have to say.
What's going on? I'm Bruce Warner. We got Uriah Warner here too. We bring together the brothers in the entertainment. Mm-hmm. And really this is for our own entertainment more than anything. We hope to keep you entertained, but mostly keep you informed. MMA has got a lot of good media in there, and we just want to be one of those good ones. So we hope you guys enjoy this. We're going to try and, keep it clean, not try and take too many shots at fighters, and focus on events. And then focus on like the big fights and building and like looking at the fights, and not necessarily like a promotion, rankings, and all that stuff, but more just like what goes into it on a full reporting spectrum, I guess, not just who's gonna knock who out. And with that being said, we got a big fight coming up, one of the biggest rematches in UFC history, Jones-Gus.
Jones-Gus 2. It's going to be, based on how the last fight went and how good of a fight that was, arguably at its time, the greatest that there has ever been. Everyone's really been looking forward to see a rematch of this, and I definitely would have to agree with that.
It's a rematch that needed to happen at the time, and due to unfortunate circumstances in both guys' careers, it's easy to look at Jon Jones and just say, well, this guy, if only this guy could have gotten his stuff together. Let's look at what's been happening in Alexander Gustafsson's career while all this has been going on too. Okay, the guy loses to Anthony Johnson horribly in his hometown, gets knocked out off of a really, really lazy kick, and then he has he has a really good fight against DC. But he doesn't, wow anybody. So I think that it's really easy to just say that Jon Jones, he wasn't the one who couldn't have lined this fight up for so long. But I'm glad that they're finally getting the chance to, after all these years. And it's really a good chance for Alexander Gustafsson to finally get his place to earn that belt. Where he's been chasing it around, when Jon Jones has been out on the other side of things with his incidents. So Alexander Gustafsson has been fighting this time. He has this story, almost like a Michael Bisping-esque story, where maybe this is his time to shine.
Yeah, I would agree. It does. This is easily probably one of his best shots he has at getting a title right now. He tried originally against Jones, and then he tried again versus DC, and he just couldn't quite get there. But I think, Jones has been out of the game for a bit. I predict that we'll get a strong comeback from Jon. I would not be surprised if he won this fight. Kind of think that's what's going to happen. But, yeah, I think that this is one of his best shots he's ever had at a title, given the circumstances.
I would agree. If Alexander Gustafsson is gonna win, this is it. So, with that being said, Jon Jones, It does. He doesn't look like he's training to lose.
No, Chael Sonnen once put it really well. He said that someone asked him how he would fare in some other promotion with like another, like not MMA, some specialized thing, and he goes, I can't say for sure if he could beat that person, but there's just some people that I don't think can lose, and I think John Jones is one of those people. He just doesn't lose. He will always do whatever it takes to win at what he's doing. Like, he is so motivated to win and just he doesn't want to lose more than you do. And that's kind of how he does it. Like, he was just really just saying, I don't know if John Jones is a loser, okay?
Yeah, well, I think I think it goes even deeper than, that he doesn't want to lose. It's that he's really not competing with you. He's not. And for a lot of athletes, they don't get that. They're always, like, I know there's a lot of people out there that, when they get up in the morning, they go, there's somebody out there working harder than me. I gotta work. John Jones, I'm going to tell you guys right now, I can't say this for a guaranteed fact. John Jones doesn't think that. For 1 second. For 1 second in your entire life, you best believe that John Jones does not think, he doesn't worry about what anyone else is doing. You want to know? Because he's John Jones. John Jones goes to sleep thinking, I'm the greatest athlete ever. And he goes to bed thinking the same. And he knows that what he's put together, you can't look at it day by day. So yeah, you might be able to look at one day in John Jones's life and say, that day I did something greater than John Jones did. But I promise you that if you look at John Jones, and I've watched this guy's career as close as anybody else has. I mean, and trust me, I've been as disappointed in him as anybody else. I mean, the guy has almost brought me to tears because he's my hero, man. He really is. But I'm telling you right now, man, he works every day for it. And he's worked every day for it since the day he was born. So this fight coming up to him means more to him than I think that Alexander Gustafsson, and that means saying a lot. Because Gustafsson, neither guy could be more motivated in this moment to do what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I think, like, you look at when John Jones came back after his first suspension, and he took the interim title, and he won that versus OSP, and everyone was like, and John was like, didn't even care about the interim belt. He's like, look, man, this is not the belt that I came here for. Like, I want my belt back. Like, this is not the real title. This is just an interim one. Like, no, I need to go and get that back. And I think it's a similar thing here where he's going to get this and he's going to be like, look, man, I want my real title. Where's my real belt? Give me my real belt back. That was always mine. Like, he always talks about on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, he's always like, look, Daniel, you're just babysitting my belt for me. Like, that's my belt. Like, I'm going to get my belt back one way or another. I don't care who it's from. John Jones is just obsessed with that thing, man. I mean, the least willing to give it up and the one who wants it back the most, for sure.
Absolutely. And to go back to your point of he wants the belt so badly, like he's this focus point on that. If you go back to one of his early interviews, he talks about when Shogun brings the belt out with his brother was Marulo, I believe his name is, was holding the belt above Mauricio's head, and he was like, John Jones just is like, dude, I'm not leaving this place without that thing. I guarantee you that. He's like, I'll put $1 million that I don't leave this octagon without that belt. And the reason he's able to have that confidence is because his game isn't just physical. And he trains with Jackson Winklejohn, and Greg Jackson is all big mental coach.
Oh yeah,
big mental, and I think that John, a guy like that, especially, you might look at him and be like, oh, well, it's clearly not working with. I mean, imagine what John Jones would be like without a guy like that, to have given him guidance. You know what I'm saying? So I think that John Jones is in the right camp, and I'm pretty excited to to see what he's going to put together here, because he seems to have cut out all the noise. He seems to have built a great camp together, and yeah, I don't know. I could talk about John Jones for 50 minutes straight, so I'm trying to not do that, so that way we can keep a consistent, like, I mean, this is honestly just a podcast. We're just putting it on YouTube. So, like, it's recorded. Sure, you can, like, see us, but the visual is more just, like, if you want to, like, read into what we're saying a little bit more, I talk a lot with my body language. Yeah. So you could just read into it like that. It's not like, yeah.
Not, like it says, it's a podcast. It's not really video.
It's a podcast.
It's for the audio.
But, what was that? My train of thought was, oh yeah, I don't want to just talk about John Jones all day.
And as much as John Jones wants us, I think Alexander Gustafsson wants it just as bad. I think he knows that this is his chance to get it. Like, he's going to get that interim belt. But then what he's going to do is he's going to, like, defend that title. And, man, he wants it bad. And this might be his last shot. Like, I don't know.
Here's the thing.
He's a great fighter, but how many times can you fight for the belt and not get it? Who's gonna
beat him? Mm-hmm. Who's gonna beat him outside of it? And I don't think there is anyone. There is a guy on the Ilir Latifi.
Yeah.
He might be somebody who I'd be interested in seeing Jones go against. But after that, I would give Gustafsson, if it's a close fight, I would give Gustafsson another round at Jones after this.
You think go for the trilogy?
I think you'd have to. Just because it's not like Gus is, from what we saw from the first fight, and now me and you were kind of going back and forth on this, and I'll finish my point before we go to this, because we can start talking about this a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
He's not super far behind Jones. No. So we can't say it's kind of, and from what his fight with DC too. So he's got a little bit of, Anthony Johnson might have been I don't want to say it was a fluke, because Anthony Johnson's a bad man, and I think maybe Anthony Johnson's fight with DC was more of a fluke on Anthony Johnson's side than the other way around, both of them. So I think that, but we're getting too many layers deep into a thought. I would say that what I would say here though is that if it's close again, you got to give him a third.
Yeah.
But I would say that the first fight, not as close as people think.
No, I see a lot of the Gus robs. And, I rewatched that fight because I'd watched it a really long time ago and I didn't remember exactly how each round went. But, when I rewatched this fight, I tried to watch it, with the purest, no bias at all, because I really just wanted to see if maybe Gus legitimately did get robbed. And I watched it back and I was like, first round, yeah, I'd give that to Gus. And then I was like, second round I think was a strong Jones. Definitely Jones round. Third round, I could see it go either way. I would personally say Jones, but I can understand why some people might have said Gus. But the fourth and fifth rounds, I don't think you can really argue that Gus won those rounds. I think John Jones definitely won those rounds. And even if you give Gus the third round, that's still 3, if they're all 10-9 rounds, it's still 3-5 or 3-2. I think Jones definitely won that fight. I think it's by far at that point that was the toughest fight John Jones has ever had in his career up until then. But I still think that he won that fight.
I think he won it. I mean, I remember watching it live, and I was super excited for it. I went to Buffalo Wild Wings with my friends from college. I was a sophomore in college. Went to Buffalo Wild Wings, were pumped, dude. And John Jones just came out flat. And I was like, oh man, this might be a long night. Mm-hmm. The second round, all of those fears were quelled for me. Yeah. I thought he came out and he won the second round. I thought the first round, watch the first round unbiasedly, just the first round. Alexander Gustafsson doesn't do anything in that round where you go, oh boy, John Jones is in trouble. Ever. He just kind of works his... It's really similar, if you want to compare rounds, to watch John Jones versus Lyoto Machida in the first round, and then watch John Jones versus Alexander Gustafsson in the first round. John Jones had a lot of the same problems with Machida in the first round too. How'd that one pan out?
First person to ever submit Lyoto Machida. And of all things, a standing guillotine.
Oh, just mauled him.
Yeah.
Machida, it was like Machida's like, catch me if you can, and then John
just like, I got you.
Yeah.
It's like.
So I'm not so sold on Alexander Gustafsson. And people might go, well, what if Jones comes in out of shape? I mean, if you looked at how Alexander Gustafsson looked going into that Anthony Johnson fight, super out of shape. Like, what? Who is this guy? So, I mean, I don't know. I like Alexander Gustafsson personally. I think he's a really nice guy. I wish he brings it every time he fights. I mean, I'm pointing out the one time he didn't show up. Outside of that, the dude's a dog. I think his other losses to, besides DC, which was a razor close, was to Phil Davis, and it was a close fight. He might have gotten submitted by Phil Davis, or he got decisioned. I don't remember. Doesn't matter. Either way, Gustafsson didn't look terrible in it. So, I mean, it's. I think this. If McGregor and Diaz and all that stuff wouldn't have happened, and Daniel Cormier say Strikeforce still exists, this is maybe one of the biggest fights in UFC history. So I get it's not like the biggest one, but I think this one even has a little bit more weight and significance than McGregor versus Khabib had. And some people might disagree with me.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, but I think this one's kind of even bigger than that.
Oh yeah.
For the fans who have been waiting around since 2013, 14, like I have.
I mean, it's been. That's the thing for the fans who've been there for a while. They're like, oh man, this is it. Like we're finally getting our rematch. We're finally gonna see, because at the time, like you said, this was you just watched the two baddest men on the planet throw down, and John Jones won, but that was still an awesome fight. Like
left it all out there.
It was great to see. I mean, you just watched this guy, John Jones, who you thought was like invincible, like this unstoppable force, and you watch someone really start to give him more trouble than he's ever seen. Not that I mean, like I said, I still definitely think he won that fight, but Gustafsson gave him more trouble than anyone else before he had. He had walked through a lot of guys, and Gus shook him up, and you're like, man, now that they fought each other, like it'd be cool to see them how they would train maybe a little differently, or fight him maybe a little bit like differently in the next fight. And for years now, everyone's been waiting. And I mean, 5 years is a long time, and in terms of like fighting years, that's a good chunk of your career to go through. And now we're gonna finally get to see this rematch.
Well, and it's not even like the craziest thing about it all is you look at 5 years ago. There's a lot of athletes and there's a lot of big events 5 years ago that would have happened, and we're like, whoa, if that happened again, that would be huge. And then 5 years later, we're like, who cares if those guys would have fought? Like Anderson Silva versus GSP.
Yeah.
5 years ago, anyone would have paid to see that fight.
Nowadays.
Now, I don't know. I would love to watch Anderson Silva and GSP fight. Sure. Would I buy it on pay-per-view? No.
No, it's not going to be the same. It's not going to, it's no longer about, all right, these are the two, these are the GOATs. These are the two, they were almost unstoppable people at the time. But now it's like, okay, they're out of the prime. They haven't fought in a while, or they're old, or all of those things. And you're like, I just don't, I want to see them in their primes fighting, not all right.
Well, yeah, and the fact that these two, here's the thing, the fact that these two guys, 5 years ago, it was a big fight, and now that they were able to stay in shape, able to continue fighting, and able to push through it all. I mean, it's just not very likely that this fight would still be this big 5 years. I mean, think about it. Khabib versus McGregor. Are we going to care about that in 5 years?
I don't think we will.
I don't think we will at all.
I don't think that. And I think the other thing, too, is just the 205 division, the light heavyweight division as a whole, is I think one of the most, the fans, everyone loves lightweight. Don't get me wrong, 155. And, super competitive division, great to watch. Same with, honestly, 170 at times. 185 was also, middleweight, long-time favorite for everyone. But I think light heavyweight is where you really see some of the most like crazy stuff. I mean, because heavyweight, you're kind of getting almost too big for like. There's not a lot of ground game or jiu-jitsu or whatever. There is some wrestling, but it's not the same. It's more like I think you see more knockouts than anything else. But in 205, man, you could see anything go down in there, and I mean, John is a great example of that because you get these crazy submissions. He would just. I mean, the dude's got the deadliest elbows on the planet. And then you get people like OSP who will do what's the Von Fluke choke, where you have them caught in the guillotine with your head there, and then he chokes you out with his shoulder blade and his arm while he's stuck in a guillotine. He has technically submitted 2 people doing that, and then like got someone else to tap before that. But the other 2 people he choked unconscious with his shoulder blade and his arm while he was in a guillotine. There's
Jones broke his arm with a leg kick.
Yeah.
Or with a you kick. No, he didn't kick his arm with his leg.
These are like
he kicked with his leg. He kicked him in the arm.
Yeah.
Broken.
I think
Jones is a beast, dude.
205, I think is just like the super entertaining division.
Yeah, man.
Like there are not a ton of boring 205 fights. And they're always. I mean, everyone. It's such a competitive division, and that's what makes it great. Like people like Anthony Rumble Johnson, who there was like every time you watch that dude fight, he just. I don't know. The great division.
I'm with it.
Arguably the best.
All right, I agree. We don't disagree. Guess what, guys? This might be one of the you're like, oh, these guys, they're agreeing on everything first time. All right. Just kidding. All right, we got Cyborg versus Nunes. I mean, the battle of the alpha females, though. Who you got?
For sure. Man, if I had to say who I think would win, I would maybe say Chris Cyborg, but I could definitely feel Amanda Nunes winning this. I would want her to win over Chris Cyborg, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who I'm going to go with.
It's going to be a good fight. I know Chris Cyborg's had... Well, I don't really want to dive too deep into the roads because everyone's been there, had that. Well, not everyone, but most people.
I don't know what I'm going to... Yeah, man. Here's the thing. I'm going to have to go... I'm going to have to go Cyborg.
Yeah.
Amanda's great.
I think Cyborg won. Amanda is still a great fighter, but I think...
She's a little too big.
I think Cyborg is going to be the one who...
She's a little too big. All right. Let's go Condit versus Chiesa. Who you got?
That is an interesting one. Chiesa just lost to Anthony Pettis, and before that, he lost to... Who did he lose to? He lost to, why can't I think? It was after the Khabib versus Akinta fight. It was after the
Who Chiesa?
Yeah, he missed his fight there. And
he lost Pettis. He lost Pettis again.
But that was the one.
Oh,
after
I don't
that.
know, dude. That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah,
Chiesa and Condit. This is let's see who you don't get. No offense, love you both. You both have had some really good fights. Whichever one of you guys wins, we'll talk about it on the podcast next time. How about that? Alira TV and I'm joking, guys. We're just we went long on Jones. So we're cutting it short.
Yeah,
it's just a joke. I respect anybody who steps in the cage. It's a joke. Alira Latifi versus Corey Anderson. Who do you got on that one?
I'm not too familiar with either of those people, but let's just say Anderson. Got Anderson. Yeah.
I'm going Latifi. Mendez versus it auto-corrected to Volcano Ski. I think it's Volonsky. He's like 18-1. Yeah.
That's gonna be an interesting one.
I got Mendez. Come on, bro. Be real.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Come on, Chad Mendez is gonna knock this guy out.
You're right. Okay. To put it this way, I've never heard of this other dude.
Yeah.
And Chad Mendez.
He beat Darren Elkins.
I know Chad Mendez lost to McGregor, but come on, man.
He's
a good fighter.
This guy's 18-1. I'm not questioning if he's going to be good or not.
Yeah, but hey, there's
Chad
plenty
Mendez
of people who get really good records, and then they meet that person that takes that away.
Yeah, Chad Mendez is top tier
all the time.
You beat Chad Mendez, and the very next episode I'm going to come on because we'll do follow ups on all these. We'll do a little wrap up afterwards. The fight for sure. We'll do a little, maybe like 20-minute wrap up. Hey man, you knock somebody out, I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna say, hey, I was wrong. Put my hand on the Bible and say, you shut me up, right? Arlovsky, Harris. I'm a huge Arlovsky guy. I'm going Arlovsky.
Yeah,
How about you?
I know that Arlovsky hasn't fared too well in his past fights, but I think he's starting to get back into that range where they're going to give him someone who... I think they're going to give like the young blood like a chance to beat one of the older guys so that they can kind of cement themselves as like, oh, I'm a future prospect of this thing. Like, I'm young and I'm going to start making it up higher into the rankings. And I think that it's really going to be that this young dude's actually not as good as everyone thought he was going to be. And he's just going to get beat by Arlovsky. Like, even though, I mean, I don't know.
Well, Harris has been around for a minute.
Fighting.
Harris has been around, yeah.
Okay.
Harris has been around for a minute. I think it'll be, it's Walt Harris. I didn't put the full names on there. Yeah, you're fine.
I still think Arlovsky.
Yeah, I think it's a good fight. The matchmaker, there's good matchmaking on this fight. I like it. Whoever comes, both guys are good guys. They're gonna fight. They're gonna put it all out there, pat each other on the back afterwards. It's gonna be a good one to watch. Zingano versus Megan Anderson. I got Zingano. The other Anderson's beast. She's a big girl. I know, not like she's a big, tall, like strong girl. And Zingano might be the kind of girl that might be able to take her down. How about you?
Just to keep things interesting, I'll say Anderson.
All right,
Anderson.
This is good. That one, I might circle that one. If you're a fan of women's MMA, circle that one. You're gonna want to watch it. Mm-hmm. Like I said, we're kind of running a little bit, late. My family's trying to sleep, so I'm gonna wrap it up here. But we got a couple more fights, but we're wrapping it up. If you're a fan of women's MMA, circle that one on your calendar. Tune in. Those are two high skilled girls. Then we got BJ versus Hall.
Oh man, back from retirement for what? Now the third time.
MJ on the Wizards right now.
Yeah, I mean, I still got to give it to BJ. I think he's gonna win. I honestly don't think he needs to retire. I would rather see BJ Penn just do like a grappling thing, like but more oriented towards like retired fighters. Because I know that Kazushi Sakuraba...
Just do it with John Jones.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I know Kazushi Sakuraba's got his own thing that he started, but, like, his has, like, all kinds of different people in it. And I think that this one should just be, like, for fighters who, like, still want to compete, but just can't take the hits anymore, or, like, don't want to take the head damage or whatever, or maybe they're out of their prime for that. I think that would be better for BJ Penn, but continue.
And that's what this fight is.
Yeah.
And I want to be very clear, that's exactly what he's doing with this fight. If Ryan Hall throws a punch, I will give Luke, I don't like gambling very much, but I will give Luke $1 on this air. If he throws, and I'm serious, here's the thing. It has to be a real punch. None of this, I want him to throw a real punch with the intention to hurt BJ Penn. That also has to be on there. He has to not intend to push him away with his fist. He has to intend to hurt BJ.
Yeah, like a.
Yes. Then I will give Luke at $1. Uriah Hall versus, it says Binon Lewis, but it's like Bivon. Uriah Hall, why'd you take this fight?
Yeah.
Stop taking fights like this, Uriah Hall. You're gonna win.
It's like Donald Cerrone. Donald Cerrone, man. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, tied for the most wins in UFC history at the time of filming this. But everyone's trying to act like that makes him this amazing fighter or something. And it's like, alright, I'm not gonna say Donald Cerrone's a bad fighter.
I love Donald Cerrone.
Yeah, he's a great guy, got tied for the most wins. But you're comparing him to people like Michael Bisping and I think Anderson Silva, like people
who fought for the belt.
Oh, and he did, but these are still people who held belts, beat a lot of top contenders, or had big name wins.
Donald Cerrone, Uriah Hall is not on the same scale as Donald Cerrone.
No, I know, but this is what the same kind of fight this is.
Here's the thing, Uriah Hall
has done this for his whole career.
He's not. Donald Cerrone is a little bit. There's a couple tiers above Uriah Hall. A couple tiers.
I'm just saying he's easing into that territory.
Yeah, I love and I got.
Can't be keeping this up.
All right, I like Donald.
I like all these people.
Yeah. Uriah don't take fights with Devon Lewis.
No.
Beat him.
All right.
So, you son of a gun. Here's the thing. The reason, and we'll finish it up with this, and we'll announce the next episode. We'll be done. Here's the thing. Uriah Hall. I bet Bevon Lewis is probably a pretty tough son of a gun. And I bet it's going to be probably a hard fight for you, buddy.
Oh, you think he's gonna? What's happened to Kevin Lee is gonna happen to him? Where?
No.
Okay.
No. He'll win, but like, it's probably not an easy fight. Like,
no, it's probably not as easy as he wants it to be. Or
yeah,
thinks it's gonna be.
he's gonna walk in there and have to fight somebody in the UFC. So stop taking fights with Bevon Lewis if your name's Uriah Hall.
Yeah, if you're gonna fight someone who's tough anyway, you might as well pick a good name.
Yeah.
Help your rank, your career out a little bit. Get yourself up there on the roster. Maybe get some bigger fights after that. Not the goal. Work your way towards the belt.
Career advice. And then next episode we're going to cover the PFL finale. I owe Vinny Magalhaes a public apology for saying mean things to him on Instagram about his career, about his career accomplishments. All right, Vinny, you're a black belt. I'm not. I'll admit it.
But Brooks,
I was.
No, but Brooks.
I was.
Yeah.
I will publicly apologize to Vinny Magalhaes next episode if you're interested.
Vinny was so right. Come on.
Vinny was. Here's the thing. If what I would have said to Vinny Magalhaes wouldn't have been like, I don't even remember.
If what you had said wasn't true, it'd be different. But
no. This here's the thing. The second and the third, I reread what I wrote. I'm like, that wasn't English. The first one wasn't. I wrote like an un-English. I don't even know what I wrote. And then the second one, I was like, dang it, dude. I gotta come back a little bit before he gets to come back in there. But, Vinny, you're a nice guy. I like you. So I'll apologize to you. This wasn't the apology. This is me just...
announcing that there will be an apology.
There will be an apology. Because here's the thing. The Professional Fighters League disabled their comments afterwards.
Yeah.
On everything, bro. So I'm sorry, Vinny. I didn't mean it, dude. Here's the thing.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, bro.
Ain't no thing.
I got respect for you, man. I was kind of I was kind of screwing around, and I was not even paying attention to what I wrote, and it was meaner than it was like mean-spirited and like didn't make sense. But it was mean-spirited.
You sent me a screenshot of it too.
I was like, bro, I don't even know. I was wilding out, and I was like, oh man. I just said mean things to Vinny Magalhaes and PFL disabled their comments, so I'm sorry. And we'll cover your finale next episode.
Back on.
Vinny, I'm sorry, buddy. That's the apology. I'm not gonna talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm sorry, Vinny. I didn't mean it. I still like your stuff.
It's okay.
I called you the B word. You're not. You're a tough guy.
It's cool.
Guess what? Verdum still won the match. Peace.